Hello everybody, Ninjas here and welcome back to Mecha-ude episode 2. No seasons quite yet, but yeah. Episode 2 of Mecha-ude, in which I don't actually know. Our main character is probably gonna be enlisted into the weird underground resistance force or whoever they are, because main characters are often enlisted in organizations like that. But ultimately, we'll see, right? We don't really know. What happened? Can you hear the pillow? No, Mike doesn't pick it up. Good. What happened in the previous episode? Well, in the previous episode, our main character, Hikaru Amatsuga, noticed a light and went out to make photos, to take some, I don't know, evidence. He's not like a reporter, so not really evidence, but he wanted to take a photo of a weird phenomenon, basically, yeah. And as it turned out the other day, that phenomenon did not appear on film. It didn't appear on people's eyes either, at least most people out there, but he was one of the very few who were able to see that, if not the only one. That is because that whole phenomenon was caused by a battle between Aki Murasame and whoever. I don't know what his name is. Was it Jun Kagami? Or was it someone else? I'm not sure. Another dude, basically. Dude was from some sort of a corporation, conglomerate kind of thing, and they were fighting over a cube. Cube that we didn't know what it is yet back then. Aki managed to not quite win the fight, but hold her ground. Unfortunately, in the process, the cube fell somewhere, and they were unable to retrieve it before, I don't know, before people started getting curious, before authorities arrived. I still am not sure about the legal status of either organization. Or their control over the police. I guess we're gonna learn more about that. Then Hikaru, going to school with his friends, talked to them about that weird phenomenon, and he heard a voice. Help me, the voice called. And so he followed that voice. He had to evade some police who cordoned off the entire area, and he found the cube. The cube, who immediately jumped into the air and beelined for his back, to embed itself in him as a new host. Unfortunately, it didn't quite embed in him, it embedded in the hood of his hoodie, which is cool, which is interesting, which is unique, which might have some interesting repercussions in the future. We'll see about that, of course. And as it turns out, the cube contained a sentient arm, like a mechanical arm kind of thing, which Hikaru was, of course, very scared and weirded out by, so he wanted to get rid of it. But as it turns out, if he gets away from the arm wilts, withers, and presumably eventually dies, or at least falls into a deep slumber. That is because we can surmise Hikaru has something onium in his blood, I guess, because it's some sort of a substance, I don't know, chemical, power, energy, whatever, that those arms need to live. And so Hikaru, of course, didn't want to kill an innocent mechanical arm, so he wore the hoodie, and they stuck around together. That's when the both sides of whatever conflict takes place. We really don't know what kind of conflict it is. Besides, one side wants to exploit the arms as tools and weapons, while the other treats them as partners, which someone pointed out to me on the Discord I think, or in the comments, that, I mean, Pokemon. And yeah, actually, absolutely Pokemon. Some trainers just use them as weapons, and some trainers use them as friends. Well, use them as friends, I guess. So yeah, it seems the conflict is something like that. Hikaru managed to sneak out, and yeah, managed to sneak out. Then soon he was cornered by Aki, who defeated the member of the corporation, or again, whatever it is, not taking away the cube or destroying it or anything like that, which is very cool and very on brand if her organization actually believes in like partnership. Like, if you can, I don't know, if you defeat a Pokemon trainer, you don't walk up to their Pidgey and slit the Pidgey's throat, right? Like, you don't take their Bulbasaur with you by force or anything like that, right? You keep them with the trainer, which is doubly true if the cubes or the arms or the Mecha-ude imprint on their original wielder, on whoever they first embedded themselves into. And if Aki took the cube from the corpo guy, then the cube would have withered and fell asleep or died, or whatever happens to the cube once it's deprived of whatever onium. Hikaru wanted to run, of course, but wasn't able to run fast with Arma or Alma or whatever the name of the arm on his back, and so Arma decided, leave me behind, right? Too bad, but I can't get you into this sort of trouble, so you go and I'll figure something out. Hikaru, of course, rejected that notion, rejected that idea, put the hoodie back on, and squared up to fight. And fight they did. Arma grew a couple of times in size and just basically squished Aki without much of an issue. And as she was laying there incapacitated, they managed to escape. Yeah, they managed to escape. The next day, they went to school because Hikaru has to keep Arma around, of course. So they went to school together. And lo and behold, we get a brand new transfer student, and you would never guess who it's gonna be. Aki, of course, who rejects the idea of pre-set seating arrangements in a classroom. She just took her table, plopped it right next to Hikaru's, and that's where she's gonna take place. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting where the story goes. It's gonna be interesting where they go as characters. We'll see. What am I seeing here? Oh, I guess I got the wrong Mecha-ude show. I have a little like metric opened on the next screen where I have like the names of characters and stuff. And how many episodes, studio, etc., etc. And I was afraid seeing one episode there, and I'm like, what? Did they just cancel it or whatever? I'm watching episode 2. How the fuck is it just one episode long? But yeah, that was the original OVA, and this is the TV run of full 12 episodes times 24 minutes each. So, how about we watch second of the planned 12 episodes, right? Shall we? Shall we do that? Yes, we shall. To do it, you're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily, Patreon, YouTube down below or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching Mecha-ude episode 2 in 3, 2, 1, go. Trigger arm, yeah. Great. With makeup and hair like that, she looks like a music art from Tact of Destiny. Well, too bad. She's not taking those assigned seats. So there's going to be some backstory to Aki, isn't there? Yeah, there's this dude who seems to be like, whatchamacallit, like Tony Stark thing, where he's only alive because he's merged with the weapon, with the Mecha-ude or something like that, maybe? Really good music, by the way. I really like this OP. Bit of a fake out to the music, of course. Okay. What makes you think you're safe in the boys' bathroom? I don't think she would have any qualms from entering here. True. And her Mecha-ude were at least willing to, you know, talk to them. I don't think police is privy to the existence of Mecha-ude. That's a lot of paper on a single roll. Of course. Who could say no? Oh, that's the childhood friend? Probably. How scandalous! Yeah. There she is. No, he's not. Yeah, she's not exactly approachable, is she? I've no clue. uh, who's her voice actor? I think I recognize this voice from somewhere. Of course, she's a glutton. We know that. She doesn't have a particularly developed palate, does she? Surprisingly so, yeah. No. Exactly. Those are very vivid blue earphones. What is music? Oh? You gonna ambush him together? Probably. Yep. Here's the ambush. Here's the bait. Now we're waiting for the trap to close. uh, Yeah, it's like a threat note. Not quite a love letter, is it? Yeah, that's the worry. She's surprisingly fine with it for a childhood friend. They are BFFs. Very imaginative name, by the way. Yeah, gotta get a debriefing. Not quite to him, but yeah. No, it's just a, not cooperative trip. Fair point. We should probably learn what the fuck is going on, right? So take him. Right, can't take him because Hikaru is the source of bullshitium. Interesting. Okay, so she's not quite a thinker, is she? Probably a good point, yeah. It's not gonna work, is it? Yeah, predictable. It's only under like dire straits, I guess, that he can henshin. He's a stickler for the rules, isn't he? Oh, they can combine. That's interesting. Something tells me she's gonna be waiting by every single one of them. You can punch through, no problem. Let's go right, the other arm says. Exactly. Of course. Let's go up. Or down. Sure, that also works. Yeah, quite clearly. He was just trying to escape with his life. I mean, Alma clearly withers when Hikaru goes away, so there is some sort of a connection between them. Fight me? Yep. Not gonna work. All like music, but yeah. I mean, clearly he does have something to do. Yeah, it went quite a bit further than she expected. I mean, do you have a better option? Besides, I guess, the, other side of the barricade. Assuming they are even willing to talk instead of just assassinating you. Fair point. Yeah. Predictable. Some sonic blast. Interesting. Yeah, it didn't do anything to you, but did something to Hikaru. And she's a sniper on the roof. Yeah, that's quite far. Are they also fused with their arms, I wonder? Also, curious why. Yeah, I was about to say why they don't talk, they don't do anything of their own volition, right? Are they like lobotomized essentially, or are they? I have no idea. Shackled. Gotcha. Worm type? What do you mean worm type? They look an awful lot like the same Mecha-ude, just duplicated. Okay, so yeah, lobotomy basically. Tools having a will of their own can actually be useful in this particular case specifically. So, we have dire straits. So, I would say the condition for Arma's activation has been fulfilled, probably. He likes his banter. Let a man banter, girl. Why is Alma in particular so important? Because he derised to a hoodie instead of flesh? I don't know. Or is it simply that every Mecha-ude is important to her? Like Mecha-ude cutting power? Or shackles? They could be like shackles. Throw them, shackle your enemies Mecha-ude, they can't do shit. Right? You can't hide forever though, that's the problem. You can't really do anything alone, can you? We're just gonna run out of onium. Exactly. I mean, yeah, probably. Oh, noise cancelling earphones. Right? Right. Oh, well, that's convenient. Being able to turn your uh, sniper rifle into a glider. And yeah, I was correct, those are shackles. They did not, like, pop off her, which is good. So as long as we take off the shackles, she's gonna be fine. Why? Is she special somehow? Or do you want, like, info from her? Intel? It works. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, it might not work, but you are, like, not particularly strong combatant, are you? Yeah, maybe let Arma fight. That would probably be better than trying to punch the dude yourself. Bluff? Oh, that was their plan. A great idea. Do something about them. Right, not enough power. And unshackled. There we go. Right, and she can wear her headphones. The antagonists are fun, I gotta say. Team Rocket's blasting off again. Yeah. Leaving the guy behind. Because of course. Well, they're gonna save the school on demolition. Take him to the HQ. Not like you can take him to the hospital. Okay, the rest of the gang is here. Why is Arma in particular so important? Those are some green, yeah, artificial Mecha-ude. Oh, well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Huh. I was correct when I said, I can't remember if I said it on video or on or only on Discord. This show scratches some of those Symphogear itches. Even some of the itches that Symphogear did not manage to scratch, in a way. right? Symphogear didn't particularly manage to scratch my itch of partial henshin, which is probably one of my favorite things. Here, it's kind of like that, right? Only his mechanical arm is henshin, in a way. Symphogear never managed to scratch that artificial Symphogear itch. They seem to have artificial Mecha-ude, right? Cool. Cool. Definitely seems a good deal more light-hearted than I initially assumed it's gonna be, though. Not that it's a bad thing, right? Like, make no mistake. But still, worth noting. Oh, after credits. HQ. That's a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Arms. And your arm is very reminiscent of Arma. Also, what's up with your face, dude? Twin arms separated at birth or something? Yep. Not quite twins, but yeah. Humanity. Huh. Your help as well, yes. Yeah. Can't fight the feeling of wanting to help, can you? Yeah, you're not really needed here. Yeah. Huh. So what exactly kind of power they need from Alma? He can't exactly do anything without Hikaru. And if they don't need Hikaru on the battlefield, well, Arma can't go there without Hikaru. So what exactly is the plan here, I wonder? Can you change who the arm is derised to? I don't know. We'll see. But right now, we'll see this episode again. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Yeah, very fun antagonists. And as I said, she really is, in her design, really reminiscent of plenty of music arts in Tact of Destiny. RIP Tact of Symphony, by the way. It was... I'm not gonna say it was a great gacha, but it was a decent gacha. Died too soon. OP. Yeah, the OP is hinting at some interesting things, right? Some dark past for Aki, some significance of the mask. I wonder if Algis, whatever, is maybe like a family with the leader of the group. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. That's why he's hiding his face, maybe. Let me note it down, actually. Algis / Elgis is related to Kagami Group leader. I think safe assumption. Yeah, she didn't seem like she wanted to fight, of course. She doesn't have the best attitude, does she? If she was a little bit more approachable, they would probably have stayed and listened to her and heard her out. But alas, she was very trigger happy in a way. And I think those arms are CG after all, but like really well shaded. That really makes them look not CG. Also, again, we're getting some scenes, some shots, some poses that would be so easy to give us an upskirt panty shot, but they didn't. Cool. Right. This girl, the childhood friend. I gotta find out her VA. Not listed on AniList. Maybe my AniList is gonna be better about it. Let's see. I swear I heard her voice somewhere. Come on, Mecha-ude. Characters and stuff. Where is she? Meru. There we go. She is voiced by Reina Ueda. There we go. Reina Ueda, who played Reze in Chainsaw Man, who played who else? Someone in Precure, Sachan in Isekai Shikaku. There we go. Who else? Asura in Mushoku Tensei Season 2. Someone in Precure. Plenty other people. Veronica Rickenbacker in Mahotsukai no Yome Season 2. There we go. Yeah, I think that's where I recognize her name, her voice from. Methode in Frieren. Yeah, another familiar voice. Yeah, I know now where I heard her voice. Veronica Rickenbacker and Methode. And plenty of other roles as well. Vulpix, apparently, in Pokemon from 2019. Alright. Yeah. Running away, because of course. She's quick to make friends, especially with food. I really expected her to be maybe jealous of Hikaru, maybe trying to, like, you know, feel the ground, right? Like, what are Aki's intentions? Does she want to steal Hikaru-kun? Does she want to do something else? I don't know. But no, apparently she ships them, so that's fresh, that's interesting. Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing, but also a bit of a, like, not a reversal, but you know, when it turned out that it wasn't actually their plan, it was just a bluff, right? Instead of being like a core part of their plan. That's right, Hikaru Amatsuga. Yeah, again, not quite a love letter. It really doesn't look like a love letter, does it? Those are some yandere eyes. Arms. Yeah, we were about to hear proper explanation. I'm taking you back to the HQ. Yeah, let's go. Let's fucking go to the HQ. Right? Like, absolutely. Let's get some explanations. But instead, I don't rightly know what was Hikaru's plan here. Like, give Arma and not go himself, or what? The rising involves a Mecha-ude fusing with human flesh. That makes Arma interesting and unique. Because I wonder, how did he even manage to do that? Right? Like, I would think that yeah, arbitrium. There's no way there's arbitrium flowing through his clothes. Right, but there's arbitrium, like, emanating out of him, right? I assume that normally Mecha-ude need to be attached directly to the bloodstream or whatever to capture arbitrium from the blood or from ley lines in the body or chakras or whatever, right? But in case of Hikaru, his arbitrium is so strong that he just emanates it, radiates it. And so he can actually go a certain like amount of distance away from Arma, and Arma is still fine. Right? Maybe that's also why Arma attached himself to a hoodie. Because like instinctively, when it noticed, okay, that's enough arbitrium to live, he just latched onto his clothes. Normally, for normal humans, the like livable amount of arbitrium for Mecha-ude is directly on the skin or ideally inside of the skin. So they can derise only when they touch bare skin, right? But because Hikaru has that layer of arbitrium around him, Arma instinctively derised into the first thing that he touched. I think that's the case. Hikaru radiates arbitrium while other users have it in their blood or very close to skin. Yeah, I think that might be it. Which would mean that the source connecting them has to come from humans. Never seen anything like it. Yeah, let's fucking go again. I really don't know why Hikaru is so opposed to go with them to get some explanations. Right? Just running away and making things worse for himself and everybody involved, really. Some nice bits of action. Yeah, some nice three-dimensional thinking. If you had no intention of talking, why didn't you finish me off back there? Yeah, I think Hikaru is right here. You and I live in clearly different worlds. I think that's the issue. That's where the miscommunication kind of stems from, right? Like, Hikaru was just defending himself, right? Meanwhile, Aki is laying there like, finish me then, right? Kind of sort of thing. To her, bodily injury and death and things like that are, while not the daily, then they are at least a possibility, a very real possibility, right? Hikaru would not even think about killing another human. It didn't even like go through his head. It's not like he thought, oh, should I kill her? No, I shouldn't. No, it didn't just, it didn't even enter the thought. So yeah, very different worlds, absolutely. You haven't arrived with Arma, yeah. Arma's not moving because of you. I really don't think that's how it works. Like, I really don't think your first assumption should be that Hikaru has some magical power to, like, suck the arbitrium out whenever Arma goes away, to trick Arma into believing that he needs to be nearby, or whatever it is that you're accusing him of. I really think the, Occam's razor, the simplest explanation, is probably the true one, or at least it's worth investigating in the first place. And the simplest explanation is, yes, it derives to the hoodie. Why can it take arbitrium from Hikaru? We don't know. It's worth checking, though. Accusations like that really don't work. Another anticlimactic moment, yeah. Yeah, thankfully they managed to hide their arms quickly. Very surprising to have a childhood friend, kind of an archetype, like completely ship the main character in someone else instead of trying to be romantically involved with the main character. Cool. Yeah, we just want you to return the trigger arm and some sort of a sound waves. This is cool. I really enjoy the villains here. Well, villains, antagonists, I'm gonna say. Yeah, they're goofy, they're funny, they're fun. Again, really kind of sort of reminiscent a little bit of maybe not quite Team Rocket, because Team Rocket arguably were better Pokemon trainers than Ash at times. So, you know, that doesn't check out. But, like, I don't know, other goons of Giovanni, right? Who also were fun at times in that slapsticky way, but were still, you know, using their Pokemon. Yeah, quite a far distance, isn't it? Shackled Mecha-ude. Worm type. That's interesting. What is worm type exactly? We've seen one Mecha-ude that would fit the description of a worm. That would be the Uroboros, they called it, right? The green one that was stolen. But worm type implies it's like a sub-genre, subtype of Mecha-ude. So, what could worm mean here? Worm as in they worm themselves into your body? Maybe, like, instead of just being embedded in a hand, like in the form of a tattoo or whatever, they worm their way and take over like half of your body or something like that. I don't know. I would very much like an explanation. Expansion department, right? Expansion department being looking for more Mecha-ude. Shackled. She's dual wielding, which is interesting because her Mecha-ude are very like same in a way. So all this time, I assume that they are a single Mecha-ude, maybe like embedded like in her back, right? Like at the bottom of her back or something. Or they are like single Mecha-ude but taking the form of two. And like if you derise with one, you have to derise with another kind of sort of deal, right? Like twins, they only come in pairs, something like that. I don't know. Shackled. Any Mecha-ude controlled by that thing becomes their slaves. Right. And you can actually see the shackles. That's a cool detail. It also seems like, yeah, like those shackles are on his arm. So I assume the Mecha-ude is embedded in his arm, is derised to him, but the site of derision is shackled. And thus the Mecha-ude is shackled as well. Which is interesting because I thought initially that the Kagami Group was using Mecha-ude just like weapons, right? They don't derise with them, but rather they derise them into maybe a glove or a bracer or a boot or something like that, just like Arma was derised into a hoodie, and thus they managed to use them just as tools without giving up their body or whatever. Doesn't seem to be the case though. And additionally, Arma's case of derising to a hoodie seems to be very unique. Yeah, you gotta run, of course. But then, yeah, and the shackles. But then, of course, deciding, no, I'm gonna help after all. I might be afraid, but I'm brave. I'm gonna fight. Yeah, very like classic path, I guess you could say, for this sort of a fish out of water sudden hero character arc, isn't it? Yeah, but still thinking, how can we deal with that? Trying to figure out a good way, making a plan. They should move however you want them to now. That's also interesting, because if they are shackled, then yeah, I would assume that she would be able to still use them to defend herself, but she just refuses to out of principle, right? I think that's it. I guess even if it means that she can't defend herself, like, what, she'd rather die than use Mecha-ude as tools. That's some very strong conviction you gotta have there to act like that. Yeah, it's not gonna work because of noise cancelling, but yeah, she's unfortunately shackled. Might be useful for a bluff, right? And they do seem to work. It's actually more than a bluff, right? But you need to be close to get enough, to give enough power to Arma. And just like that, unshackled again. Again, very fun antagonists. I like them. I was hoping for a Team Rocket kind of like blink in the sky, but not quite. They did manage to land on the ground. She escaped, doesn't give a single fuck about this guy. And the whole gang is here. Complete with the leader himself. The mask is interesting. Whenever a character in anime has a mask, it's for a reason. I just wonder what his reason would be. Artificial Mecha-ude. Now that's cool. And this dude, who I believe we've seen in episode 1, like clutching at his chest, managed to grab it. Did he like completely fuse with it, or I don't know. I don't even know who he is exactly. It looks vaguely like he's wearing a hospital gown with just a bit of a cloak around his shoulders, which, I don't know, might be him. Edie. And after credits. Yeah, they use shackles. We're the organization created to free the Mecha-udes from the Kagami Group. We are the arms. I like that we see some like random grunts in the background. It's not often you see that. Most often, when there is an organization like that, there are people with like distinct designs and distinct names and whatnot, and the whole organization is like 15 people tops, with 5 people being like the main cast and 10 people being like somewhere in the background, like analysts or doctors or whatever. This is looking like a proper organization, right? With a whole bunch of people. Like, sure, there are those who have their proper designs and proper names and whatnot, but there's plenty of just grunts, which is cool. Algis. Very similar design of the arm to Arma, yeah. I wonder if the mask is a part of Fist. Rather, apparently. The like spine thing is probably a part of Fist as well, which begs the question, like, how deep does the derision go? From what we've seen so far in like Aki, it's equivalent to just like a point on the skin, not even a tattoo, not even a mark, that can just spontaneously grow a Mecha-ude. But he has like a full-blown cybernetic spine, which I wonder if Arma is helping him deal with some sort of an illness or disability or something like that. Right? He has a walking cane as well. I wonder if he maybe was like paralyzed. His legs were paralyzed, and Fist just fixed that, bypassing his spinal cord and connecting the breakage or something like that. Maybe that's actually an experimental treatment of paralysis caused by the broken like spinal cord. They slap a bunch of electrodes on one end of the broken spinal cord. They run a cable and they stuff a bunch of electrodes on the other end, and thus the electrical signals can actually go through. I don't think it's like perfect yet because there's a lot of nerves and not a lot of electrodes you can fit on like a, you know, the area of the circumference of the spinal column, but still something very promising. Regardless, Fist is helping his host with some sickness or disability. Nobody else seems to have their Mecha-ude quite as extensively embedded in them. We want your help for the sake of humanity and the Mecha-udes in order to take down the Kagami Group. Alma, we need your help. Yeah, they're not really talking to you, Hikaru. They're just talking to Alma. You're not the hero here. You're not Hibiki. Or at least you're not expected to be. This is weird though. We only need Alma's power. We don't need you to do anything. But Alma's power comes from Hikaru. Like if you separate them, Alma is useless. Just falls asleep or whatever. So, assuming you want to put Alma on the battlefront, you need to put Hikaru on the battlefront as well. They are inseparable. So you need Hikaru's help as well. You need his consent. You need him to help you. If you only intend to, I don't know, keep Alma in the research base or whatever, you still need to keep Hikaru around to power him. So we don't need you to do anything. It's not really true. I have no clue what they're thinking right now. I wonder if it's a plan that is just not really thought out, that we are just supposed to hear that they expect nothing from Hikaru, but then Hikaru proves his worth somehow, and they actually want him as a part of the crew. And we're just not supposed to think about why they want to reject him? Or is it some other narrative issue? Or is there like actual plan behind it all of, I don't know, running a Wi-Fi signal from Hikaru's head to Alma or whatever to power him remotely or something like that? Because right now, it really seems not well thought out by them. To, like, again, to get Alma, you need to also get Hikaru. Unless you can derise Alma to someone else, then you need Hikaru. You need his help. We don't need you to do anything. No, you need him to do something. Even if it's sitting at the base on his ass and just powering Arma as his, I don't know, doing research or whatever, you still need him. I have no idea. I have no clue what they're thinking. There we go. That's the episode. Ooh-wee. Alrighty. So, that was a fun episode. It really shows that, I mean, we don't know where it goes. It could very well go like super dark or whatnot. I don't think it will. But this episode was fun and way more light-hearted than I expected this show to be. Right? I fully expected the antagonists to actually be like, you know, full and proper antagonistic. Meanwhile, they are mostly just goofballs, really. Also, I wonder what they did with the Soundwave dude that was laying there unconscious. Did they take him prisoner? Did they release him? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, regardless. Some cool things happen in this episode. right? First, the bit with Hikaru wanting to be heroic and fight and wear the headphones as the master plan earphones, but then turns out that no, it was just a bluff and they just wanted Aki to do all the work. Then the bit of a anticlimactic moment where Hikaru is like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to help you, right? Things you do for friends, and they tell him, no, we actually don't need your help. I was talking to Alma, actually. It was cool in those ways where it's, it follows the footsteps of the giants, so to speak, right? It follows the beats that Symphogear, Madoka Magica, I guess, to a degree, Flip Flapper, not quite Flip Flappers, but shows where there's dude who gains power and gets involved with a secret organization that uses their power, right? It walks in those footsteps, but at the same time does plenty of interesting things, plenty of new things, that it doesn't feel stale. It doesn't feel like rehashing of Symphogear, for example, right? It feels like its own thing still. I really have no clue what is the arms organization thinking, like trying to enlist Arma's help and not Hikaru's help. I have no idea how they imagine that working. So I really wonder if it's actually going to be explained somehow, or is it just a narrative issue that the whoever wrote the script didn't actually think of that. I don't know. I guess we're gonna learn and see that in future episodes. Anything else? We learned a surprising amount about Armas in Armas, Mecha-ude in this episode, and in a very organic way. That was cool, right? Like, we didn't get a briefing by the boss of Arma or whatever telling us this is a thing, there's shackles, there is, like, you usually don't deride arms to articles of clothing, there is arbitrium flowing through the veins, but yada, 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 yada. But rather it was done organically, right? Aki's Mecha-ude told us about the shackles and told Hikaru about the shackles, right? Then, well, before that, earlier, we learn again through just Aki's musings that, well, it usually doesn't attach to articles of clothing. It needs like a direct contact with skin, etc., etc., etc. That was cool. That was a very good way to go about it, to go about exposition in a very natural way. So hey, good going there. And in general, a fun episode, but I'm kinda sorta waiting for the main action, I guess, to kick in, right? Because we are still in the period of, well, not quite a part of the organization, but still wanting to fight, but not really having like a proper personal reason to fight, etc., etc., etc. I'm waiting for Hikaru to be like full and proper embedded in this conflict. And how's that gonna work? Are the antagonists gonna change from just a bunch of goofballs into like seriously evil motherfuckers? We'll see. Plenty of mystery, few answers, and I think the pace that we get answers and mysteries at is just about. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time with this episode, and it's a good show so far. So yeah. But what did you think about this episode, in particular about my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? Let me know in the comments. No spoilers, please, although I don't think there's a source material, so not like you can spoil me much. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Mecha-ude but also Dan Da Dan, stories of girls who couldn't be magicians, and plenty others, Shangri-La Frontier Season 2, others as well. And what comes next? Click the bell to be notified of when those videos go up and when I go live, because I stream sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing, helps a lot. On YouTube, membership, super thanks, super chats. On Patreon, just $1 gets you some perks. And with all of that out of the way, I'd say that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers. And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Zerena, Yuki, Dr. Watt, Akamasar, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to be locked in a building with an angry girl.